This is Batgirl, and you're listening to the Geekcast Radio Network.
Cliff Jumper, commence countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, Toycast. Oh, yes. Listen in to the only toy podcast you will ever need.
Hello and welcome to an all-new generation of Toycast as we get the origins of any and all toy fans that we can. I'm, of course, TFG and Mike, and today's featured guest is, well, he's a peep-loving, sausage finger having,
unbelievable
Funko fanatic that is so unbelievable. He is the Funko Fat Guy, a.k.a. Jake.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I'm Funko Fat Guy. I actually do not like peeps. I think they're the worst. But I want to get that out of the way, first of all. What's going on, man?
Not much. Just, podcasting as always. We are on our way to the Top 100 Toys Countdown.
Ooh.
We've done 7 countdowns on here on the Geekcast Radio Network since 2011. And the next one that we're going to do, I spent 100 hours of audio editing a couple of years ago on Transformers. So hopefully Toys does not take me 100 hours to edit 7 podcasts. So yeah, we're working on that. That's going to be episodes 181 to 187. We're getting that going and all that good stuff, and more details on that and how people can contribute and whatever else will be coming soon. But you are here to talk about your origins in toy collecting. And how I found the Funko Fat Guy, folks, is that he, along with myself and a bunch of other awesome people, are a part of the Slapshot Pops and the Pop Force 1 community of Funko and toy collectors and whatever else.
Yes, sir. I've been supporting them. I mean, the reason I got even into YouTube or whatever is because of Vince, which is Pop and Duo from Pop Force 1. The reason I even got into that is because of him and Gabby when they were back doing their thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been part of the Slapshot thing for, man, since there was only one chat. I think there's like 4 now, or 3 or 4 now. So, and there used to be like 6.
Yeah, there was 6. There was like yellow, red, blue, teal, purple, orange. I don't even know because I wasn't even I didn't join the stuff until after they condensed the teams into 3 teams: yellow, red, and the best team, the blue team.
Blue, of course, yes,
of course. Yes.
But yeah, so I've been around since there was one chat. So I have been around quite some time. As far as YouTube goes, I've only been around doing that for, I don't know, like a little over 2 years now.
Yeah.
But as far as Funko goes, I mean, I know we'll get into it, but I've been around that for a lot longer. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We will definitely get into it. So, what? Oh, wait. I have to scroll past the Slapshot Pops special intro when I eventually have them on the show. Actually, I'm going to give people a preview. I haven't changed it. I need to update this because of my and everyone else's, help of getting them to where they are now as far as subscriber numbers. But 25K by Monday, folks.
I mean, it's possible.
By the time people hear this, that hopefully will be over 50K for them. But this, when John and Joanna eventually do come on Toycast and basically go through the questions, this is the intro that I wrote up. Hello and welcome to the same thing. New generation of Toycast, and we get the origins of any adult toy fans that are can. Featured guests never... Shit, I screwed that up. Today's featured guests never stop shooting until they score. They are a husband and wife team. Wow, I can't
see. Team it's good. You're getting practice in now, so
exactly. Yeah,
here you got.
You think I've been doing this for so long? You think a husband and wife team of Funko, Lego, and toy collectors in general. Also, no one should be sleeping on these awesome creators. It's John and Joanna Darling from Slapshot Pops. Let's freaking go. hi guys, how are you, etc., etc., etc. But I have to rewrite that whole thing now because of the 20K and the 23K.
How ridiculous it's been. Yeah, it's been crazy. I can't believe the growth. I mean, good for them. Like I said, I've been following them from not the start, but like pretty close.
Yeah.
So like it's been interesting to see how crazy that's gotten.
Yep. And I know they probably just want to celebrate the 16, 17, every 1,000, but like seriously, but I'm just sitting here like, okay, we've hit this, we hit the 20. Let's go for I'm telling you right now,
time to start celebrating.
What'll happen?
Time to start celebrating in the 5s and not the 1s.
Yeah. I'm telling you, my goal is to get them to 1 million by December 31st of this year.
You're a crazy person.
Hey, you know what? Like they said, don't stop shooting until you score.
All right. Shoot a lot.
Well, yeah, that's the point.
But it's great. I mean, good for them.
I guess I'm the old Fulton fat guy here because Fulton Reed wasn't exactly fat, but he sure could shoot. So, the Mighty. That's what I need to get. I never got the Mighty Ducks pops.
Oh, yeah.
I was wondering if they ever did. They ever actually release those at mass retail?
Oh, yeah.
I don't ever remember seeing them.
I have at least one of them signed. Because of course I do. We'll get into that too, I'm sure.
You and your we will get into that.
But yeah, I have one of them signed, and it's taken basically all of my might not to get the rest of the set signed. But I have Emilio, so you gotta have Emilio.
Oh, you got Bombay.
Yep, gotta have Emilio.
Well, that's probably the hardest. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's probably the hardest one to get.
As far as the people who sign, yeah, I guess so. He does a fair amount of signing. But so do the well, they're not kids anymore, but so do the quote unquote kids. They do a fair amount of signing too. But pretty much I've seen most of them that are out have signed, but I need to not buy everything that I see. So I don't have them.
And yet you do.
Well, okay, true. Yeah. I think I'd be getting called out, but yeah.
That's what we're all about, calling people out here on Toycast.
Holding me accountable.
Exactly. And I love it, but I was so shocked when I first started watching Marvel's Daredevil. And I'm like, wait a minute. I know that face. I know that voice. His hair color is different. Holy shit. That's Fulton Reed as Foggy Nelson in fucking Daredevil. I'm like, what the fuck universe am I living in?
It's always funny when like child stars and stuff like that show up in random stuff and they haven't in a while. Like the kid, like Data from the Goonies. He's in that not new anymore, but the Oscar winner with the hot dog fingers, actually. Everything Everywhere All at Once. Yes. So I mean he's in that, and he was kind of gone for a while,
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get into the toys because we'll be here all day talking about stuff, folks. What is or was the first toy you remember having as a kid?
Oh man, that was so long ago. It was whole 29 years ago.
Yeah.
So
whippersnapper.
Yeah, and just a wee lad. It I know for sure that when I was young, like really young, I used to have like a lot of Beanie Babies in the house. Obviously, as a Funko collector, they're often compared. I don't see the comparison, but
I don't see the comparison. I mean, other than the landfill, I don't see the comparison.
I think it's more of a volume thing. Like there were so many Beanie Babies released, so many Pops released, but whatever. So Beanie Babies, I know I had a lot. When I got a little bit older, I remember having a lot of Lego, and I probably had the bigger Lego blocks, like when I was a kid. And for whatever reason, cause I remember you kind of giving me example questions or whatever, and this was one of them. Mm-hmm. And, for whatever reason, the one thing that popped in my head was, do you remember Elephant, the elephant, like the elephant that kind of blew like little butterflies up in the air and you had to catch them with a net or whatever?
No, but I remember Ellaroo.
Okay, maybe it was more my time, but yeah, it was just like a little elephant with a fan in it that blew little butterflies up, and you caught them with a little net and whatever. I don't know. That's what reminded what I thought of immediately. So that was probably one of the earliest ones, along with like the Beanie Babies and stuff like that.
No action figures, nothing.
They came a little bit later. The action figures came a little bit later.
Okay, all right. I got to remember, folks, some of the people that I have on the show are wee little lads and lasses and don't have the mileage on their tires like I do. God. Was there a particular adult who was supportive of you playing with toys as a kid? Was there anyone who was unsupportive?
No, I feel like most of my family or whatever was into it. I mean, I remember with the Beanie Babies specifically, me and my dad, he would always used to play with me with them. It was kind of like, this is silly as shit, but like, what isn't when you're a kid?
Right.
We would always used to like put them around in a circle, like on my parents' bed. And like do like a Survivor type show where each of them got like voted off the island or whatever. And this is way before Survivor like even existed. So I'm convinced that I created Survivor in my own head. So we always used to like have them compete in like different things or whatever. And I was super young, so it's crazy that I even remember this, but we would always call it Beanie Baby Island, and they were voted off the island, and whichever was the last one standing, and we would do this all the time, whichever one was the last one standing would be the new champion, and they would have to compete against new people next time around.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So when you vote them off the island, do you basically just punt them off the bed? And
I literally would throw them off the bed, yeah. I would be like, bye, get out of here, you're off. Your tribe has spoken.
You're done. Yep, absolutely.
But yeah, it's crazy because Survivor didn't end up coming around until like, I don't know, 6-7 years later or something. So I was like, what? I did this.
Yeah, Survivor and Big Brother both premiered in 2000.
Yeah, oh man, Big Brother. We're not talking about reality shows, but if we could, I would be talking about Big Brother. I've been watching that since almost 2000. I don't know why, but I have.
I have an idea for another one of our episodes.
Ooh, reality cast, let's go.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know we call it reality cast, but we can definitely, there's plenty of things. Because our flagship, because you may or may not know, the audience knows, so people listening to the sound of my voice, I'm sorry, I repeat myself a lot.
I get that.
Geekcast Radio is our flagship show where we talk about anything geeky, from Batman to wrestling to whatever. So the reality TV stuff would fit there, or it could fit on our other show called Studio 2009, where that show is basically we talk about anything in the audio or visual medium. So it could be literally anything. As long as you can watch it or hear it, it could be on that show. So yeah, definitely. Jake will be back, folks, on a different episode, but
I think I will.
Yeah, absolutely. So you mentioned Beanie Babies, but what other types of toys were your favorites to play with as a kid?
Well, I mean, I feel like I can't not bring up, and I know this is about toys, this isn't about video games, but I feel like I was molded by video games as a kid. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
That was my toy more than anything. Obviously I did have toys, and then, like I said, the action figures did come a little bit when I was a little bit older. But video games, one of my earliest memories when I was like 3, I think, when it came out, was playing Pokemon Yellow with my dad. Obviously I couldn't really do anything, but like I would watch my dad play it on the Game Boy Color, and it was like, that's one of my earliest like video game memories. And I would always play Super Mario 3 Super Mario World, the one where you could ride Yoshi, and he ate the apples or whatever. That one is the one I remember the most. But that was all the way, that was Super NES, I think. So that was a little while ago. But that's what I remember the most. So like, I guess it's kind of a cop out, but as far as that's just the reality of it is I was more of a video game person and still am today. Obviously I collect the Funkos, but like I collect video games too, which is something that a lot of people don't know. Because I don't talk about it within like the Funko space, like really, because who cares? Like I am trying to get into it.
As soon as like Funko got Contra, we have Contra Pops. That's fine. I have no disrespect towards Contra. We have Spyro, we have Crash, we have we have all the Halo characters. I want fucking Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid specifically, not Metal Gear from the early days, not whatever. 1998, Metal Gear Solid, Snake as David Hayter as Snake, Cam Clark as Liquid and Solidus and Revolver Ocelot and all that. Like, I want those.
Even
pops.
if they did a one-off Solid Snake, I'd be happy. I mean, it's not a Nintendo property or anything, so they can probably get it. But I don't know. I feel like it's kind of being gatekept. I don't know why. It's a bit weird.
I don't know why, because like I said, they have Crash, they have Spyro, they have a specific PlayStation line that they did. Like it. Come on, Funko, it's right there. Job.
And there's always stuff with Funko that, like, I look at it and I'm like, I feel like this license is pretty attainable and it would sell. So I'm a bit confused on some of them. That would be one of them, because Solid Snake is a super well-known character. Absolutely. Really, there's nothing for David Hayter to sign as far as Funko goes, as far as I know. Yeah. So I would love a Solid Snake pop, because he does a lot of cons, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he does a lot. I love David Hayter. I would love to get hit and be able to interview him. That would be amazing.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the way he plays that character, because he, certain voice actors, they are the characters that they've, like, you look at Rob Paulson and all the characters he's voiced and whatever else, but like Yakko and Pinky are obviously the two of the majors. Obviously, he was the original Raphael in the original Turtles series and all that. But yeah, so we can talk about that on another show.
Weezer.
Yep.
There's another line right there that I am befuddled that it doesn't exist.
Yeah, Jimmy Neutron. Yep. And they've done other Nickelodeon. They have Hey Arnold. How do you have Hey Arnold and not Jimmy Neutron?
So
how do you have the Rugrats and not Jimmy Neutron? That makes no. Anyway, we're already Funko isn't until like the 22nd. No, it's fine. It's fine.
Just my world, like, so I'm always in the mindset of it.
Yep.
Whoops, I broke my pen.
Don't break your pen. Cool. What were some of your favorite childhood toys that really stood out more than the rest? So, you got Turtles, Transformers, Batman. Out of, pick something that stands out more than everything else.
Oh, that's tough, because, like, I didn't have those. Like, I was never, those were kind of past my time. I mean, if you look at the timeline, they were around, but they definitely, I'd say, in the 90s, like the mid to late 90s, weren't as popular as they were beforehand. So they just kind of missed me. I don't know why, but I never had Turtles. I never had Transformers. I never had, what's the other big one? Like, Motu was even before, but I just never had those. So I don't have Power Rangers. Power Rangers is another one that, like, I just didn't.
That started in 93.
Okay, well, so I don't know how I missed that one. I don't know how I missed that one then. But
all right, so I'll modify it. Which video games, like what video games, stand out more than the others for you?
Definitely Pokemon. It's always been Pokemon for me. Like I said, I've started that from the beginning, and the anime was around obviously too. So I was kind of playing the games, watching the anime hand in hand. So those have been in my life up until this point. Like, I play every game that comes out still. It's definitely not the same. Obviously, there's not that kind of magic, but there is still something special about. I know I'm turning this into like the Games Cast, but whatever.
So good.
This is my toy. So,
hey, it's funny you say that, and nobody knows this yet except one person, because the one person is actually going to be the first guest. I'm working on. So this is 42 questions about toy collecting. I'm working on a 30-question video game.
Well, I'll have to be on for that
series.
One too.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, answering them right now.
Now we got you for 3 episodes. Right? This and 2 others.
Oh, lucky for everyone else. Yay.
Oh, stop it. Knock it off.
But yeah, Pokemon has always been like my number one. Between whether it be animated shows or video games or toys. I mean, I did used to collect little Pokemon figures too from, I want to say Bandai, I think made them, but I used to have a ton of those, and now my sister, obviously she's a lot older now, but I passed them down to her, and she still got them somewhere, but she's in college, she's the smart one, but she still got them somewhere, so those are still around, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I had like these little Pokemon figures to connect it back to actual toys.
Wow, very cool. How have they not done Team Rocket yet? We have Meowth, but we don't have. Like,
they haven't done any of the people.
It's all. Yeah, and I know that's, everyone hates People Pops, but we'll get into that later. Okay, so do you prefer the label of action figures, dolls, toys, or other labels?
They're action figures. Bobbleheads are appropriate, I'd say. depending on what you're talking about. Like, when people call Funko dolls, I'm like, get out of here. Nothing about them is a doll, except for the Barbie ones I just bought. We'll talk about that at some point. I'm sure.
Yes.
But I will say that I never got into Barbie. So my grandma did have my mom's old ones, so I probably did play with them with like GI Joes and stuff, like old GI Joes and stuff like that. So I probably did play with them when I was super young. But what were we talking about? I lost track.
Labels
Correct.
of the labels.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, call them whatever you want. Most of them are action figures, I'd say, or just figures, like that kind of, because action figures, I guess, implies some kind of articulation, which not everything really has, I suppose. But they're just
I
figures.
can turn my head from left to right.
Well, that's Funko
an action figure. Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Those are the furthest thing from action figures, or
they're
dolls.
very inaction.
Yeah, they're closer to bobbleheads than anything. And some of them are. I mean, some of them aren't. Some of them are. But
because of licensing,
yeah, exactly, like Star Wars and random stuff like that. But it's interesting that people who are, I don't want to call them uneducated, but kind of like it's not a detriment or anything. Like you're into what you're into, but
yeah,
I just feel like calling them dolls, unless it is like a Barbie doll, like unless it says doll, I feel like it's kind of insulting.
Yeah. So and listeners, I'm sorry, but we don't do pre-show chatter where I tell the whole story and then retell it on the show. So, but I tell this every single time when I get to this question because I am 40. How old am I now? 42, 43, I don't know. Wait, 2022. Last year I was the answer to everything. This year I'm not the answer to everything anymore. Yeah, I'm 43. So being 43 years old, growing up in the 80s, sometimes aunts and uncles that didn't get it, more so my grandparents, my Nana or something like that, be like, oh, Mikey's going to go home and play with his dolls. They're not dolls, Grandma. Like, it's that kind of, and it's not that, you're right. It's not that they're uneducated.
Right. They just don't know.
That it's not something, because our parents and grandparents, most of them did not grow, because toys have been around for the longest time. Right,
but they were like rocking horses.
They didn't yeah, like they didn't, like the toys that we know for the toy industry today in 2023 started in like 1981.
Yeah, they didn't have the cool toys.
Kind of. Yeah, exactly. Rock or a stick or piece of mud or
they
whatever.
Had outside.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You want to play? Go play outside. Go. Yeah. Good guys or bad guys? Which toys were your favorites to play with the most?
In general, I'm a villains man. Just in general, I've always been a villains guy. When it comes to wrestling, I like the heels. When it comes to movies, I like the villains. When it comes to video games, I like the villains. Like, no matter what, I'm a villains guy. Obviously, there are heroes I like too, because, I mean, who doesn't like some heroes at least? But every time I'm like right towards the villain, and I'm like, yeah, this guy's cool. Because the villains are always cooler. Let's get real. The villains always have better designs. The villains always have better dialogue if it's in like a movie or a game or something. They just always are so much cooler. So I am 100% a villains man.
Very cool, very cool. All right, let's see here. I got to skip a couple of questions because you're too young.
That's fair.
You didn't have toy vehicles or play sets.
I mean, I did. I had some Hot Wheels and like some of the tracks, so like that's kind of where that ends.
Okay, yeah.
But I never like was a avid like collector, I guess, of Hot Wheels. But I definitely had some, just not a lot. Yeah. When I got older, I can talk about something when I got older that's kind of in the same vein.
Sure.
When I got about like even earlier, 2007-ish, which is way later. I got into like diecast cars, like NASCAR diecast cars.
Yep.
So I have a ton of those. My dad used to collect them, so that's probably where I got that in my head. But then a certain driver came into NASCAR, so I started collecting his stuff between sports cards and the diecast. So I'm actually looking like up right now, and I can see the whole collection of his cars. Complete.
So who is that driver?
Juan Pablo Montoya in 2007. He was formerly like an Indy F1 kind of guy. Came into NASCAR from Colombia. He was never great. Like, he was never that good. But it was like one of those guys where I'm going to start collecting him when he first comes in. Nobody's really collecting him yet. And now I have one of the biggest, if not the biggest collections, at least in the United States, between the diecast and the sports cards. So it took some time and money, but I don't really do that much anymore. If I see something, I'll grab it, but I have most of his stuff, so like I can't really do much with it.
Yeah. What features define a good toy to you? How true does the item feel in comparison to the source material likeness?
That is interesting. So I used to play with like wrestling figures. Like I had the ring and everything, and I would have them. I would basically be like a dream match booker. So those have always been the most, not the most realistic, but they are modeled after real people, obviously. So if you see the face and it just doesn't look like the person that it's supposed to be, you're like, what the hell is this? What have they done here? It's gotten so much better now with these modern figures. They have like the face scans and whatever. But back in like the early 2000s or whatever, when I was really like into these, that didn't exist. Like they didn't have these like super nice face scans and body scans or whatever. So like they were just kind of doing what they could with pictures, I'd imagine. And some of them were just off. So I'd say it's more important for like people figure than it is for the actual like something from a cartoon or something. Obviously it's important, but I feel like you can kind of get away with a little bit more maybe from a cartoon character as opposed to a real life person. I could be wrong about that, but that's kind of what I think about that.
Yeah, absolutely. What does toy packaging have to draw you in? So again, you go to a Walmart, a Target, or a comic shop, because, you know, comic shops have Funko Pops, or you go to a convention or something, or a toy show. Like, you see this Funko Pop, that Funko Pop, and something else, or whatever. Like, what is the packaging of the toy have to make you go for it versus others?
I'm a big colors guy. I mean, I'm easily distracted, so like I'm like, woo, wow, shiny. Oh, if there's something shiny on a box, I'll look at it. Like that's why,
ladies and gentlemen, he probably has the biggest metallic Funko Pop collection out there.
I'm looking at a shiny box right now, so there's so like that's kind of why I like the NFT pops that they've been coming out with a little bit, because each of them, like the box art on those, has a metallic outline. So they're dark boxes with a metallic outline. So if I saw that on like a shelf or whatever, I'd immediately be obviously, well, only at resellers for these ones, but I'd immediately be drawn to it because I'm like, ooh, it's eye catching, you know? So anything that catches my eye, bright colors, stuff like that. I'm like, I like have ADHD, but don't. It's like one of those things where I'm like easily distracted by things, but no doctor has ever told me, yeah, you got this thing. But my brain's all twisted, so I probably got something going on. But yeah, it's shiny stuff, bright colors. I'm like, ooh, that's fancy. But for me, as far as pops go, I mean, I guess it would be more of the source material, as opposed to what the actual box looks like. Because like, if it's something I like, I'm gonna buy it no matter what. Like, I don't care what the box looks like, even though I'm an inbox collector primarily. So it does matter to a point. But I don't know. It only matters to a point though, because either it's coming out or when it comes to Funko, I care more about what's inside.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, like, you know, you see, like, okay, I'm looking right now and I know this is going to sound crazy and silly and stupid, and it's not because I eventually want to have him on the podcast, but I'm looking at the Top Pops U2's box. I'm looking at the Tucker Budson, the dog U2's box. I'm looking at Transformers Bumblebee Funko Pop and Transformers Grimlock. Like that's the thing. Like, what kind of packaging is going to draw your eye more? And then, you know, like that's what you go after. If it's a character you're interested, if it's a character you want, then obviously you do. But it's kind of like, you know, ooh, there's a Cocoa Pebbles candy bar. I'll take 7 of those, please. You know, it's one of those.
Yes, I would. I mean, yeah. To elaborate a little bit, like, and this is not specifically a me thing, but like, if I see a Funko Pop box signed, I'll immediately be drawn to that. That's a whole different thing. But if I see ink or like paint on a pop box, I'll be like, ooh, who's it signed by? I gotta know. But that's a whole different can of worms.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you just said that you open your toys, but so do you open them? Do you leave them packaged? If you keep toys packaged, do you have a specific criteria for that?
When I was younger, I would open things. Like with my wrestling figures, I opened all those to use them because I wanted to play with them. But like as an older collector, older, I suppose, like comparatively.
I know what
comparatively.
I know what you mean.
I learned more I got more into the collecting side as opposed to, I grew up, so I didn't want to like play with everything, and don't get me wrong, if I had some wrestling figures and a ring right now, I would go ham. You bet I would. But I don't. They're all gone. But that's another thing. Like, now that I'm older, I got to start kind of thinking about like the investing standpoint of something like these. Even if I don't plan on getting rid of everything or anything really, I got to at least think of that. Everything inherently has resale value, whether it's out of the box or in the box or whatever. But I need to think as an older person now, as a collector, what things are worth, even if I don't plan on getting rid of them. So yeah, everything, I can't say everything, but almost everything stays in box right now, mostly because I have nowhere to put anything. So like, as soon as I have a shelf, we'll see what can happen. But like, I have no room for anything right now. If that does happen, and I plan on, like, when I have my own house or whatever, I plan on having a couple shelves where there will be things on them. So right now, nothing. But I have a couple loose pops, like at work or whatever. But other than that, most things just, even some of my video games stay sealed because I'm a psychopath. Like, I don't know. I've gotten burned by...
How?
Yeah, go ahead.
How are you supposed to play the game if it's still sealed in the package?
I'm not. And I don't. I'll open it if I really want to, but I just buy everything.
Yeah.
Like, I just buy every game. So, because I'm a maniac. Those are worth less. Some of them are worth decent money, like collector's editions, stuff like that, but some of those are not. And I have lost money on a lot of those, but whatever, who cares? The pops, though, those, if I were to sell, I suppose, everything, like, I would make a profit. So I guess I'm doing something right. It helps that I started on the early side of it. Kind of, I guess, kind of mid to early, I guess. I started I'm sure this will come up, but I started in 2015. So, and Funko, or the Pops side of it started in 2010. So I was kind of not super early, but like early enough that I could get some grails, like early grails.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely some stuff that I missed out on too.
If, as a kid or an adult, you were only allowed to choose one toy franchise, now this is not toy line, but toy franchise to collect from, which one would it be and why?
I feel like Lego is the right answer, period. Because adults like Lego. Is that a proper answer? Did I like read that question correctly?
Franchise is essentially like Pokemon, Transformers, blah, 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 but I guess we can insert the Lego talk here.
Yeah, well, because if you choose Lego, that's kind of a cop-out because they have everything.
They have everything.
I guess it would have to be Pokemon then if I had to go actual like franchise, because I collect the cards as well. So I collect the Pops, I collect the cards, I collect the games. So I guess that would open me up to the most things that I'm actually interested in. So if we're talking just franchises, then it would be Pokemon. But if we're talking like toys in general, it'd have to be Lego because of all the open franchises that I could get into there. And Legos are fun for literally everybody. I love Legos so much.
Absolutely. Do you prefer vintage toys or modern toys?
Definitely modern, just because, like I said, a lot of them I didn't grow up with. So, like, these vintage, like, Transformers and stuff like that, it was interesting because my buddy, Big Dog Dave on Instagram, he does a lot of whatnot and stuff like that, too. We do, like, a swap, like a box swap, with a bunch of other creators, every few months or so. And one of the box swaps was basically create a box that you yourself would want as like a kid or whatever. So that was a super cool, interesting thing. And he ended up getting me and sending me that box. So he's a child of the 80s, I believe. So there was like a lot of Motu. There was a lot of, Transformers. There was like bunch of franchises like that. So it was interesting. I do have a few vintage things from those franchises because of that box, and seeing them, they're super cool. Like, I mean, cause like I hadn't really been too exposed to them other than at like, I don't know, like toy shops and stuff like that. But getting those in a box, not meant for me, but knowing that like one of my buddies, this would have like lit him up. He would have been like, this is the best box ever, obviously, because he created it. It was definitely cool to see vintage stuff, but just I would consider myself a more modern toy collector.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. What is one toy you always gravitate to more than the rest? So out of your entire 27 million Funko Pop collection, what is the one thing that you have to have with you at all times?
So basically, if I had to choose one pop, is that kind of what you're asking?
Essentially, yeah. Like, what's the one that you always go back to?
The one that I never shut the hell up about is Headless Ned Stark from 2013 San Diego Comic-Con. Because it's expensive as shit. It's the most I've ever paid for a pop. All at once. Well, I guess I paid for it in, like, payments to a buddy of mine, but whatever. It's just, basically when I started collecting Funko, I started with Game of Thrones. So, that basically means this was my holy grail, and I probably should have bought it back in 2015 when it was not worth over $1,000. But, oh yeah. But it's definitely my holy grail now. And people ask if I had to grab one pop in a fire, it's not even my most expensive anymore, but it's the most sentimental. So I would definitely be grabbing old Headless Ned Stark.
Well, then, I guess we can skip question 20.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. That's the way these things go.
I like getting ahead of myself. It was Game of Thrones, right? Was that the answer?
Yeah.
Fallout's the other one.
Yeah. Headless Funko fat guy. There we go.
Oh God, I should make that.
Oh boy. Yeah, you should. Blacklight headless Funko fat. I want that. That's amazing.
I'd have to buy some fake headless Neds for that one. Just put a headband on them. We're good.
Yeah. Yep. There you go. Even though there are always toy lines that people never purchase, are there any that you specifically and purposefully avoid?
No, I would say no. I'm pretty open to buying anything.
Everything.
I mean, if people were to see the chaos I sent a little taste in the Slapshot chat, and that was
in the blue team chat.
Yeah, that was not even that's not even it. Like, there's just so much, there's so much hidden in the nooks and crannies of this place that, like, I have a little bit of everything. At one point, Golden Girls came out with. Do you remember Little People, like the little plastic things? Yeah, They made Golden Girls ones like a couple years ago. I have those. So, like, I have no qualms about not buying anything. I love the Golden Girls. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I do.
Well, which is strange to that's a whole that's 4 podcasts now we had.
The Golden Girls podcast.
Jake's the new host, folks. I'll see you later.
I would do a breakdown episode by episode podcast of the Golden Girls. It would be so much fun.
Do not tempt me. I could have a schedule done in about 3 hours.
The problem is I can't get any guests. They're all dead. So,
wait. Oh
yeah. Old BW, my gal.
Man.
She was the last hold on, and she's gone.
Oh well. But that's not, you know what I mean? Like, just because we can't get guests doesn't mean we shouldn't still.
She was also 99. Okay, right. Like, come on, she had a hell of a life.
Yeah, absolutely. If you lived to 99,
that was a tough way to start my year a couple years ago, though. Jeez.
Yeah, the celebrity deaths always, get you in the gut.
Yeah, everyone who, if people listening have watched my YouTube channel. If you don't, go check out Funko Fat Guy. I release things sometimes. I don't know. It's kind of random. It's completely random, really. But I do pop stuff and now food reviews. So every video for the last 2.5 years or whatever, however long I've been doing this, I've either ended it with Betty White is immortal when she was still alive, or Betty White is still immortal after she passed. So I am a big Betty White guy, and I will always be a big Betty White guy.
Yeah. Rose was amazing. All right,
not my favorite Golden Girl, though.
Dorothy?
Yeah. Love me some Dorothy.
What?
Love me some Dorothy.
So, all right. This is kind of turned into a
a mishmash. That's on me.
Yeah,
it's my ADHD again.
It's fine. It's fine. I have the same brain, not the same brain issues as you do, but I have brain issues. So anyway, yeah, currently we're hoping to finish it this year, since this year's
it's the Chaos Cast.
Show. Yeah, exactly. So we have been doing a Boy Meets World and Girl Meets World podcast where my buddy Steve and I talk about each season in 2 parts. So we are up to, I think we're about to record season 5, part 2, which is episodes 13 to 24, I think is what it is. Anyway, so yeah, once that's done, this Golden Girls thing is happening.
Oh boy. Oh, jeez. I guess I'll have to rewatch the series.
I gotta see if I can find it. It was on Hulu for the longest time.
Anymore?
I don't know where it is now. I'll have to find it. I'll find it when we go to an ad break. But are there any toys in the past or currently that you wish you had not bought them? Are there any toys that you may have sold you regret letting them go?
Man. I'm trying to look around to see if there's anything I regret.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Everything, yeah. No.
The whole McGillicuddy, folks.
I'd say I more regret selling things than I do buying them, which is why I'm a hoarder now. Because back to, again with the video games, I had like a GameCube or whatever, and I sold all those and sold all the games for that. And I look back at some of what those games are worth now, and it's ridiculous. So like I look back at GameCube game like what they're worth, and I'm like, why? I sold them to like a local game store for nothing. Like just because like I wanted something new and fun, like new and fancy. Stupid kid. Mm-hmm. Same with like my old Pokemon cards. Like I couldn't even imagine, and I don't want to even think about what I used to have. But I know it was a lot of expensive shit now. And, I don't even want to, believe, like, start to think of what I had, because it would just make me angry.
Hey, this is Rose.
Oh my God, it is still on there. Holy crap.
Good.
I was not good. All right, well, new podcast plan, ladies and gentlemen.
God, the Golden Girls Hour.
Toy collecting, what's that?
Golden Girls Hour. Can't wait.
Yeah, exactly. Oh boy. So, question 17. Oh boy. I can't say or small because I know it's not small. How large is your toy collection? Do your toys take up the whole house, or are they relegated to one room, shelf, or something like that? He has 27 million Funko Pops, folks.
I don't have...
Of course they take up the whole house.
27 million. I do have 2,700, which is still a lot because they're all in box. And that's only the pop collection. I also collect, like I said, video games. I collect video game collector's editions. I collect sports cards. I collect Pokemon cards. I collect everything. I have a little of everything. They're mostly contained to one room, but there are some smattered about in like bins and stuff in the basement. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a fair amount. I'm working on it. I'm working on making it less, but somehow things keep piling up and not going away. Is this a good time to plug my Mercari store?
Not yet. We'll do that later. So, how do you keep track of your collection if you do?
Various ways.
This is a good time to talk about your involvement with a certain website. Yeah.
So. Oh yeah. I track it on PPG, Pop Price Guide, Hobby DB, whatever you want to call it. It's all those names. So that's basically, for those who don't know and not in the Funko world or whatever, that's a website where you can basically put in all your pops or whatever, and they track it. They track the value. They track whatever was sold from different websites, eBay, whatnot, stuff like that. And basically they just give you like an overview of your entire collection. I love it. Mikey over here does not.
Okay, all right. We want to get into this. Fine, we're going to get into this. All right. So my problem with HobbyDB specifically, I have two problems. Number one, on the app on my phone, if I want to go to, just looking at this put a bad taste in my mouth. So I click on the menu to see more. It takes me to their website. It's still in the app. It's not on like Google Chrome or anything on my phone. I click my collection or whatever else, and it's fine. It's whatever. I go on the website, and the website is fine too. My problem is that instead of showing in the app like it should, like how the Funko app shows it, like it's all in the app. It doesn't take you to a directed website. Like I'm not directed to Funko.com if I want to look up Target flocked Pikachu or Walmart flocked Vaporeon or whatever the fuck. You know, that's my problem with the HobbyDB app. Now, my problem with the HobbyDB website is if I search, all right, we'll just use, if I search Funko Pop Pokemon Pikachu, it'll pull it up, it'll say Pikachu, it'll say 27 million variants.
Heck yeah.
Okay, fine, I click on the variants thing. Instead of taking me to the variants page on that one tab, it opens a new tab.
Great.
No. Anyway, but go. So you're helping contribute to this to make sure the values and the this and the that are all correct and everything else.
I was brought on for autographs mostly because I have a lot of autographs that were not in the database. So they wanted me to come in and add them to the database, value them if I can. And pretty much that, but I mean, I can do other things on there. Like I can add database items, I can like do price points or whatever. But that's specifically what I was brought on to do, right? Which is the autographs. Just because I had like I reached out to them to be like, because anyone can technically do it. But I reached out to them. I'm like, listen, I have a bunch of autographs that I don't see on the database. So if you guys want me to come on and add these to the database, I can do that. And immediately almost they were like, yeah, absolutely. Let's get you on board. And I'm like, okay, sure. So now I just like being helpful. Obviously I add autographs whenever I get new ones, that aren't on there. And, but like if someone reaches out to me and be like, oh, can you add this to the, like Cloud, our buddy Cloud from the blue chat. He all the time is like, hey, can you add this, like an autograph or whatever, autograph variant or something like that. I'm like, yeah, I can add that, whatever. Like all those AP sodas that he just posted in the chat, I added all those to the database.
I love supporting artists, but I don't understand the point for people collecting artist proof stuff.
Me either. But I mean, it's no different than
I'm not
the Hikaris. I don't know if you ever got into those. The Hikaris used to do it all the time too.
Oh, jeez. Oh boy. All right. Well, you kind of already answered this, but I guess you can answer it. If you could only keep one toy from your entire collection, what would it be and why?
Yep,
so again, the house is on fire. All the humans are safe. All the pets are safe, but the toy collection's burning down. What is your Funko fat guy ass going to run in and say?
Yeah, Headless Ned is the one. But just to be different, and that's mostly because I invested the most in it. That is the most I've paid personally for a pop. It was a lot. I'm not going to say how much. It was a lot.
That's a question later.
Don't look at the PPG on it. Don't look at the value on it. You can figure it out. It was less than that, thank God. But not by much. But my most valuable one, just to kind of like, unless that is coming later. Is there a valuable question coming later?
So there is a question coming later of what is the most money you ever spent on?
Okay, well, I'll wait on that then, and we can talk about that. The most valuable one currently is Metallic Ghost Rider from 2014 San Diego Comic-Con, I believe it is. And that one's, I think, like almost 1,400 PPG.
So that's the one you would risk your life to save.
It would be Headless Ned, but just for difference, that would be my number. Yeah, that would be my number 2.
Okay.
Just for value purposes.
Yeah. All right, folks, that's going to do it for now. We are going to take a quick ad break. You're going to hear some ads and some other stuff. We're going to come back with the rest of the questions right after this.
Kid? Yes? Shut up.
Beyond the Night is the GCRN's latest review podcast. We are covering everything in the Knight Rider television universe, from the classic 80s TV series to the 1991 reunion film, Team Knight Rider, and the 2008 relaunch series as well. So join TFG and Mike and Dion the Music Man as they go in-depth and Beyond the Night only on Geekcast Radio Network. You can find Beyond the Night in iTunes and on www.geekcastradio.com.
Kid?
Yes, Michael.
Just keep driving.
Because the world needs another movie podcast.
The Geekcast Radio Network presents for your listening pleasure the Cinema Geek.
Hosted by Amanda, Kevin, Matt, and Dan.
Each week we dive headfirst in the landscape of movies as we discuss movie news, play movie games,
go in-depth on reviews,
and even have a top 10 countdown or two.
Also, don't miss our director retrospective series, where we review noted directors' movies film by film. Bottom line is, if you love movies and love podcasts, you need to experience the Cinema Geeks.
You can find us on iTunes, Blog Talk Radio, or GeekCastRadio.com.
Like science fiction? Of course you do, or you wouldn't be listening to the Geekcast Radio Network. Well, the Mark Who 42's Universe podcast is an award-winning sci-fi radio show that's been around for over 10 years. We cover everything from Doctor Who to the MCU to pop culture and everything in between. A new show drops on Tuesday mornings on the GCRN website and all of the major podcast platforms. So listen to the Mark Who 42's Universe podcast from the universe and beyond.
What was that universal greeting again? Never mind, I remember. Ba weep grana, weep nitty bong.
Hey guys, it's Rodimus Primal, and be sure to check out my YouTube channel. Join me as I have Transformers discussions, retrospectives, toy reviews, and more. You can also follow me on Twitter at Rodimus Primal, as well as Facebook and Instagram at Rodimus Primal Show. Transform and roll out, and be sure to check out my content till all are one.
Last big party of the summer, folks. Let's go out with a bang.
All right, we're back here on Toycast, and on the flip side of the previous question, here is the Toy Box Challenge. You get one, I assume this is inches, I don't know if it's centimeters, I don't know what kind of dimensions it is, but it's 18 by 18 by 18. You get one 18 by 18 by 18 box. The only toys you can keep have to fit in the box. What can you pack into it?
Huh. Man, I don't even know. I'm bad at measuring stuff.
Me too.
I'm just going to stuff that mother. I'm going to stuff that thing. I would definitely, not a toy, but I would definitely grab my Betty White autograph. I know we talked about Betty White earlier, so I'd grab that for sure. Yep. And that's just that's flat, so that's easy. Put that at the bottom. Easy. Or like on the side or something. I'll take all my Ghost Riders and Headless Ned. For sure. Those will definitely all fit. I'd imagine. I'm kind of winging it. I'm guessing. I can't even picture what an 18 by 18 box looks like. And then I'd probably take like 2 autographs. I'd probably take Jar Jar Binks, my boy, and then Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man. I'd probably take those 2. Maybe Johnny Depp. Man, now I'm questioning myself. Oh. And then, so I'll take those 2. I'll stick to that. And then, oh man, I don't even know. I don't even know what I would take for like a video game thing. It wouldn't fit. The one thing I want to take wouldn't fit. So that's it, I guess.
There you go.
But I'd stuff that thing.
Yeah, you'd almost have to.
Oh yeah, I'm taking as much as possible.
Yep. All right. Well, here's the big question, folks, and as I always say, because a lot of toy collectors are not fans of a certain There are two F words, folks. There's fuck, and then there's Funko, and a lot of people don't like that second one. But are you a Funko fan?
I'm a fan of their product. I'm not a fan of their company.
Yeah, that's
more
true.
more so now than earlier. I mean, back in 2015 and like even up until probably I don't know, 2018-ish, maybe 2019.
Yeah,
it was fine. Things were fine. They were still a collectibles company, but pandemic on, they've gone into a toy company. They've turned fully into a toy company, and it's just kind of sad to see because they used to be all about the collectors, and it's just not the case anymore. There is one thing that I still see as for the collectors, like actual collectors, and a lot of people would disagree with me, but it's the NFTs. Because all of them are numbered. So I still see those. They're harder to get. I will admit that. But that I kind of like that in a way because it gives me something to chase. Whereas in most things I can just buy for $12 or whatever off Amazon now. That's not fun. There's nothing fun to that. The NFTs are a little tough to get, but when I do get one, I feel so gratified. Like, I feel like, oh, this is awesome. I know I'm not going to get it for a year and a half, but when I do, it's going to feel great. And so I like that they're all numbered. So hit or miss. I don't care for the company much anymore, but I'm still going to support them through their products, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, you can you can dislike something and still like certain actors. You may not like what they do in their personal lives or how much of monsters they've become or whatever, or how much of a monster they already were, but you still remember learning from that television, whatever. And with Funko, it's like with the NFT. You brought the NFT thing.
Yeah,
up.
I had
Of course you did. My only problem is
I am Batman. Is that why?
That sometimes I wish he would.
I fight for justice.
Yeah, So my only problem with the NFTs is they've basically buried the Hasbro Transformers line behind NFTs, and it pisses me off because I'm a Transformers collector. I have, out of the characters that I want, I have all of the Transformers that I want, except the Gold Optimus Prime, the Devastator, and they buried Hot Rod behind the NFT wall. Look, I don't want digital bullshit. I want fully fit. I don't mind going to the store and paying whatever I have to pay. I don't mind going on eBay or Mercari or whatnot or whatever and paying within reason, sort of, kind of, but I don't mind doing that. I don't want to have to work for the potential of maybe getting that's my biggest problem with the NFTs is that they're basically teaching people they're teaching younger people to gamble, and it's the new form of gambling. And I knew this was I knew we were going to get into this, so it is what it is.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree either. It is a form of gambling, 100%. There's no getting around that. There's a chance to pull something you can redeem, 100% correct. I don't say it's getting younger people into it because I feel like this is more not an older person's game, but like I don't feel like it's like kids. You know what I mean? I don't feel like they're it's more people probably like my age and then up, probably. I could be wrong, but. It's just there is the thrill of the hunt, and the good thing about it is they introduced it's always been around, but the royalty is a big part of it because it gives you incentive to, even if you don't pull a redeemable, it gives you incentive to try and work towards one by getting that full set. So in a way, you are still getting one if you can get to that full set. But yeah, I mean, as far as the Transformers go, that. I get what you're saying to a point, but now they are out physically, so like there is no digital stuff. You know what I mean? We've had this conversation. You can just buy them. Like you can just buy them from anyone on Mercari or whatnot, anything. So I get it to a point, but they are accessible down the line just for a little more expensive than if you were to get them through the NFT program.
Yeah. And, I mean, like, I don't like, I was, by the time this episode releases, it'll be 3 weeks ago. But as of this recording, I just went into this first time I've been to, because I don't leave my apartment.
Right.
I do all my stuff online. It's like outside world.
Me too.
No, thank you. kind of thing. So today was the first day I went to GameStop, and I already have him, thank God, but I went and I saw it. I'm looking around and whatever else, and I grabbed the Undertaker Paul Bearer 2-pack.
Great pop right there.
Yep, absolutely. And I grabbed something else for a friend of mine's son's birthday. That was the few whatever. So as I'm there and I'm talking to the clerk and having a good conversation with the GameStop clerk, whatever else, and I look up and I see this giant Megatron thing, and I'm like, what is the giant Megatron? He goes, oh, that's a helmet. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I don't need a Megatron helmet, thank you.
Or do you?
He goes, oh, no, I really don't. It would not. My head, literally, physically, is too damn big. There's no way. Like, my hair wouldn't even fit in that thing.
Have you seen, this is off topic, but have you seen, like, those big hats that some sports, like, athletes have been wearing? I have one of those on the way next week.
I triple dog dare you to do 3 YouTube videos I'm wearing that hat and not saying anything like you did with the sausage
I'm 100%
fingers.
going to. Don't you worry.
Yeah,
do not worry.
Sure. Yeah. So next to it was a single Unicron.
Mm-hmm.
The big
ass
whatever.
Yeah, that's a nice pop.
That's a great pop. And I already it's a great pop. I already have it. He goes, oh, do you want the? I'm like, nope, I already got it. And he goes, oh, okay. I said, yeah, I paid full price for it when it first came out. Now it's like $16.
Yep.
That's
Funko.
Whatever it is. It is what it is. Yeah, absolutely. So what is it about Funko that you like the most as far as like the products and stuff?
I mean, back in 2015 or 2014-ish, 2015, when I started, it was the simplicity of it, which is actually originally what I didn't like about them. Which is funny. I probably would have gotten into them earlier if I wasn't so stubborn. But like originally I was like, oh, these are kind of silly. These are dumb. I don't like the eyes, like everyone else says. But then like I bought one and I'm like, oh, these are actually pretty nice. These are pretty cool. And, then I bought more and then I bought more and then I bought more and now I have 27 million. So, so yeah, and it's always evolving too, because I didn't start the autograph collecting till about a few years ago. So like, I feel like that's still kind of a newer thing. Obviously it's been happening for a while, but like the emergence of like paint pens on signing pops, whatever, like I feel like that's still fairly new as opposed to like maybe last like 6-7 years or so.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like that's a new thing kind of in the general grand scheme of things here. But that has become my bread and butter. I mean, that has become my thing almost. It's so unique.
He doesn't have a job, folks. He just, gets.
I wish
he sells autographs.
I need to have a job to support this horrible habit. And sometimes that doesn't even work.
Yeah. So
I got nothing. I forgot what I was going to say anyway.
Oh, yeah. So you're talking about the paint pens and whatever else, and I asked in the group chat. Everybody, go see YouTube.com. Whatever. Just go search Slapshot Pops. Go check out one of their videos. They're awesome. You can find the link to their Patreon, whatever else, and as long as you support them either through a YouTube channel membership or a Patreon level, depending on which Patreon level it is, you get access to the group chats, and hopefully they place you in the blue team because the blue team is the best team.
Blue team rules.
That's right. And so I made a message, and I'm like, okay, so if I wanted to get autograph pops, what kind? Because you guys were and I think it was you and Louis. Is it Louis or Luis? I don't know.
I don't either.
Whatever. It doesn't matter.
We've danced together for so many years, and I still don't know.
Oh boy, that's a whole other podcast.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna have to have you both on for that one. That's right, folks. It's a good thing I marked these explicit. So, anyways, you guys were talking about you were talking about the autographs. You were talking about because somebody asked you or asked him or asked somebody.
They probably asked me.
Hey, what's the best pen? Is this like? I think somebody showed you a pop that was autographed that. They were like, is this Sharpie? Like the
oh no, that was me.
That was you.
I showed a pop that I thought might have been Sharpie, but it ended up being black paint pen. Luckily, okay. I had to do a little bit of
research.
I had to look a little further. But it was black paint pen. Luckily, the difference between, this is just for people listening, whether they care or not, I'm going to tell them. The difference between Sharpie, like markers and paint pens is basically Sharpie markers will fade over time. When I was younger and bought some of my first autographs, I was dumb and I had a few Sharpie ones, and by the time I ended up finally getting rid of them, some of them were almost gone. Like, they were almost gone. And that was only after a few years. So do not get things signed in Sharpie. Get them signed in oil-based paint pen, and it's way better looking anyway.
Yeah. So because of that whole conversation and you bringing that up, I went on to Amazon and I bought a whole package.
Oh, yeah. I love that noise.
Sharpie.
Yeah, I got some too.
And these are still in the pack. I haven't even opened these. It's like basically the new tambourine, folks.
I mean, every time. So I posted in the chat. I did that box art, the on the Cheshire Cat of Alice.
Yep.
I use paint pens for that too. Same thing, oil based, and they're great for that too. I don't know if there's like artists, or there's a ton of artists that do box art like that. I'm just getting into it. This is only my second one, and I'm not great at it, but I mean, it's still fun to do. But yeah, so I have always paint pens at the ready.
Very cool, very cool. Anything else we need to talk about Funko before we move on with the questions?
I'm sure they'll come up again.
Oh yeah, they always.
It always comes back to Funko for me, just because, like you said, I have 27 million, so I have a lot to talk about.
Absolutely. So, as before, what was the most money you spent on a toy?
All right, here we go. About to expose myself. Headless Ned, a buddy of mine, unboxing treasures on YouTube. Doesn't do a lot of YouTube videos anymore, but sometimes he does like Jeopardy games or whatever on his channel. So he also used to be a Slapshot Pops member. That's where I met him, in the original chat. So he had it. He pulled it out of a Toy USA mystery box, if anyone's familiar with that company. Pulled it out of a Toy USA mystery box that was like incredibly expensive. The box itself was ridiculously expensive, and Jay is a maniac and liked opening really expensive things and bought like 7. So he had a lot of random ass grails just sitting around. So I was like, so there were rumblings of Jay, because I'm in a chat with him and my buddy Cord, because Cord is someone else from Slapshot stuff.
Slapshot, yeah.
Also original chat. We used to do a show called Poppin' Around the Clock with myself, Cord, Poppin' Trades, who doesn't really do videos anymore, and then the infamous, some people in the Funko world will know, but people not in it will not. The infamous Gem Pops was also part of that show. He scammed people out of a lot of money. We will not get into that, but we used to do a show, so we're in a chat. Jay, I don't know why Jay was in the chat. He's just in there. I don't know why. Like he was never part of the show or anything. He was just in the same like group chat. I don't know why. Whatever. So there were rumblings of him like stopping collecting and like selling off all of his stuff. So I messaged him. I'm like, Jay, you know that Headless Ned is my number one grail all time. What can we do to make that work? So I basically took money out of my, not my 401k, but I have like I had like a thing going with like stocks and stuff. I took money out of that and put a $500 down payment on Headless Ned, and then told Jay I would pay him off like monthly or weekly or whatever. Like when I got paid. So the final total at the end was $1,060.
Oh.
Yeah. It is worth a little more than that now. But he gave me a great price on it, and anything even close to 1,000 is pretty good for that pop. So I was happy with it. I finally got my holy grail out of the way, and now it's just I can just pick up random stuff now.
There you go.
But yeah, 1,060. That's the most I've ever paid. Number 2 is 900, which I paid for Robert Downey Jr. autograph.
Oh wow, that's
cool. He's done one official signing, and it was from that.
Oh, nice, very cool, very cool. So on the flip side of that coin, what is the cheapest toy you bought, or what was the best deal you ever got for a figure that may have been worth quite a bit more than you paid?
Oh, man. This is kind of chalked up to time a little bit. But back in 2016, maybe 2017, I picked up Beavis and Butthead for almost retail. So if you look at PPG on those or anything, they're like $300 to $400 each now. So actually, I think I traded, Nintendo used to do these figures. Actually, they still do. They did these figures called Amiibo. And I used to be into those. I actually think I traded Amiibo for those. So, basically, and Amiibo were hot at the time. So I think I traded them for those and, paid no money, basically. And I still have them. I am actually finally trying to move them, but for an exorbitant amount of money that no one will pay. But if someone is dumb enough to, then they can have them. It was the same with what was it? San Diego Comic-Con Bloody Predator. I had it up for just a stupid amount of money, and then someone finally paid it, and I'm like, oh, all right, well, I guess I can get rid of it.
There you go.
That's one way to make money, I guess.
Yeah, I think I have 2 now, actually. Little sweet, because even though I don't drink Diet Dr. Pepper, I don't mind spending what is it, $6.35 after tax for 3 bottles of Diet Dr. Pepper to get the codes to send in for a free pop. And then most recently, I finally got the Gamerverse White Spider, which is from the Marvel Spider-Man games with the white emblem instead of the black emblem. I paid, I think, just under $11 for that.
Oh yeah, can't go wrong there.
Yeah, exactly.
And the little sweet pop is underrated as hell.
Absolutely.
It's not, it doesn't have really too much value or anything, but it's got a unique sticker, which, I'm a slut for stickers. So it's got a unique sticker, and they're never gonna do one again, I'd imagine. So it's a super cool pop.
Oh no, that's the only, and really, honestly, that's because that ad campaign has been over for a long time.
Sometimes they bring them back, but they haven't done it in a while.
Yeah, they haven't done it in a while. I just love that.
It's great
because, again, you talk about reality TV. That first season of American Idol was Kelly Clarkson, who we all know and love, and Justin Guarini, who we all kind of sort of know, and we love him. Yeah. He's awesome. He's a great... Every time I've seen him do, he doesn't do much online stuff, but, if he posts on Instagram or whatever, he's always, bringing the positivity stuff and everything else, and it's just the way he is and whatever else. But, I remember when I first saw the little sweet ads, I'm like, wait a minute. I kind of know that voice. I don't really remember the face, but I know... Wait a minute. Wait. You can clear... if people could see me, they could see the realization wash. That's motherfucking Justin Guarini from season 1 of American Idol. That's amazing.
Yeah, I didn't even know that for the longest time, and then someone said it, and I'm like, oh
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. What modern and/or vintage toy lines are you collecting right now?
Funko, obviously, but I do have. Just kind of random stuff that I have. Handmade by Robots, I've been trying to buy a couple of here and there. So for those who don't know, they're they look like little knit dolls, but they're made of vinyl. It's actually very cool. I like them a lot. I actually just got my first signed one by RoboCop, Dr. Peter Weller.
Nice.
So that's a pretty cool one. I don't collect a ton. I only have a handful, maybe 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Man, what else? Amiibo, I talked about actually just now. I still collect those lightly. Sometimes when new characters come out, those ones I do keep out of box. I actually had a full inbox collection at one point and just went berserk and opened most of them. I had a moment. I'm like, I'm done. And then I opened them. I kept what I wanted. I sold the rest in the box. That's something I regret selling because some of those are worth good money now. Right now, there's only one that I have still in the box. And it's because I have one loose as well. So it's Joker from Persona 5. Persona 5 is my favorite video game of all time. This is not what this is about, but that's that.
Yeah. Very cool.
I collect figures sometimes, like anime figures, stuff like that. Also from Persona 5, I have a few of those, but like there's a ton, man. Like, I don't even know. I have an AEW like wrestling figure. I have one, Orange Cassidy, one of the wildest like wrestlers on the planet. He's weird as shit. What else, man? I don't know. I just have random stuff all over the place. I can't even, I just have random nonsense. If I see something, I got this problem where like, even if it's not something I collect, inherently, like if I see it and I like it, I'm like, I'll buy that. Sure. Why not? And then I went to a con for the first time last year, and that is a nightmare. I bought a fake foam sword. Like, I don't need that. I have it, but I don't need it. Now I have it.
That's amazing.
It's cool too.
Which ties into the next question. Do you visit toy shows or conventions? When you visit toy shows or conventions, do you have a typical methodology? Do you bring a certain amount of money for what you're searching for, et cetera, et cetera? So since you have just now gone to your first toy show last year, how was that experience for you going to your first convention?
The super funny part about this is I didn't know about these questions, so that's just great timing.
Absolutely,
that's just me reading the situation, I guess.
Yep.
It was overwhelming. It was definitely overwhelming. I am not a person who likes other people generally, or a lot of them. I like people kind of to a point. I don't like a lot of people.
Not in person. Online, fine, but in person, hanging out.
Yeah. Like, I'm not a party guy. Like, I don't like parties. Yeah, no. I don't like big crowds. No. I'm not a crowds man. And especially a con, it gets stinky. People are smelly. So, like,
wear deodorant.
Yeah, exactly. Wear some deodorant. I get that you're sweaty in that costume, but get it together. I did enjoy my experience. I did get the VIP package, so like I got to go in an hour early. So that was nice. I got to kind of do some things before other people could. Got to see the vendors before other people could, stuff like that. So I did enjoy that. I went to Rhode Island Comic Con. I don't know if I said that. But I went to Rhode Island Comic Con, and it's a pretty decent sized venue for a state that's so tiny. Like, it's a pretty good sized con for a small, tiny state. But I enjoyed it. I'm trying to do it again this year. And as far as budgeting goes, no. I didn't set a budget, and I probably should have, because I looked at my credit card bill after, and I was like, oh, what have I done? And it was a lot. Clearly, I bought a sword. I should probably do that.
Yeah.
The good news is you can buy autographs ahead of time. So like I just bought like one autograph a week or whatever until like I got what I wanted. So that was good, but the stuff on the convention floor you can't really pay ahead of time. So
no.
And there's so much cool art and stuff. Like, I'm not an art collector, like, but some of the stuff I just saw and I was like, well, I'm gonna buy that. It's so incredible what some of these artists can do. I can't. I sure can't. So I'm always impressed by art, and I like talking to the artist to hear about like how they started, stuff like that. And there was a lot of that, like, because like I said, we went in early, so I got a chance to talk to a lot of people, and it was just overall a good time. My favorite interaction. Is there more question? Like, is there another question about interactions and stuff?
No, but you can put it here. It's fine.
My favorite interaction at the con that I went to was with a voice actor from a video game called Psychonauts.
Mm-hmm.
She was there, not advertised, like at a booth with her husband. Like, she was selling stuff or whatever, but she was at a booth with her boyfriend or her husband or whatever, who's an artist. So there was a print from him and of her character from Psychonauts and him there. So I had them both sign it. I had a nice conversation with her. She was the sweetest lady on the face of the planet. Her name is escaping me at the moment. I don't remember. She was Lily in Psychonauts. So Look her up. Check her out on IMDb. You'll find it there. I don't remember her name right now. I feel so bad. But she was literally the sweetest lady on the face of the planet. And her boyfriend was cool too. But his art was incredible. Obviously, Psychonauts is like a cult classic. I loved that game. And then Psychonauts 2 a couple years ago was fantastic. So I was stunned. Like, that was such a cool interaction for me. There's pictures on my Instagram of me and her. And it was just a great time overall.
Very cool. Very cool. I'm actually trying to find it, folks.
So if you want to move on to the next question, I can probably. Nikki Rapp. Nikki Rapp was her name.
Oh, okay.
Done. Boom.
For half a second, I thought it was going to be Tara Strong.
No.
I'd be like, how do you not remember that?
She was very advertised.
Well, yeah.
I didn't meet her though. Maybe next time.
Maybe next time.
I already have her autograph twice, and I've never met her.
We've interviewed her twice.
I bet. Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, we interviewed her the first time, and then the second time was when she took over. Well, she didn't take it over, but she was offered the role and became Harley in the Arkham games.
Yep.
That second interview, she did it while she was getting her hair done at a hair salon.
That's hilarious.
I'll send those to you.
Definitely.
So you can listen to them.
That's funny.
All right. What do you think it is about our generation that causes our childhood toys to mean so much more to us than, say, for instance, our parents' generation?
Oh, man. Nostalgia, man. I mean, nostalgia is a huge thing. It's crazy. Like, whenever I guess it's a little different for me because I have less to be nostalgic about. But like, anytime I see like something from like my childhood or whatever, it's a little different with me in like Pokemon or whatever because I still like am in that world, I guess. Some things I've just never gotten out of. But like, if I see like a vintage like wrestling figure or whatever, I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. I wouldn't buy it probably, just because I don't need other things to get into. But like, there are some things that I just see and I'm like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Nostalgia is a killer. I mean, again, for me, it's video games. Like a Nintendo 64, that was one that I sold a long time ago. But then many years later, I was like, well, man, I really want another one of those. So then I went to a game store and bought one for way too much money and never looked back. So yeah, I love me some nostalgia. I don't know why. I feel like it's just us trying to capture our youth, like more so than anything, because as we get older, we're like things start to set in. I suppose you're just like, man, we're getting older. I just want a little bit of damn joy from something. Everything sucks in the world. Everything's crazy. Give me some joy. So we go to stuff that when simpler times were a thing, and we go to what makes us happy, which is things from our childhood. Too dark, too gloomy?
No, because ladies and gentlemen, right now, if he was here in my house and this was a radio studio and he was sitting next to me, I would be giving him so much side eye because he's only fucking 29 years old.
Listen, I admitted that I have less nostalgia because I'm young.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, for me, like, I'm not afraid to try certain new things if, whatever, but like, normally I'm more so going to, like, television shows, for example. Yeah. I'm more so going to watch the original Melrose Place, for example, from 1992, than I am whatever reboot they're trying to do with it kind of thing, because it really isn't the same, whatever, that kind of thing. I'm more apt to watch the original show that I grew up with kind of thing than I am. Yeah, so I completely understand that. And the thing is, like, I think personally, for those of us who were born in the 70s and 80s and grew up with Toys R Us ads, it's like, okay, Jeffrey, we won't grow up. And we haven't. Like, seriously, like, I stopped collecting toys and all that stuff when I was in, like, middle school. And then when we went to high school, I had a little bit of college. By the time 2005, 2006 came around, I was like, oh, I have a job where they're paying me oodles of money to essentially do nothing. It was one of those jobs where we're going to pay you all this, this much money up at the ceiling, and you basically have to do like 7 tasks per day. I'm like, okay.
So I started buying stuff on eBay, whatever else. I'm like, I'm 25, 26 years old at the time. I'm like, crap, I'm still a kid.
Yeah.
Jeffrey told me to, you never grow up.
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it too is, so I did kind of get out of I've always been a collector of things. No matter what, there's always been some kind of collection in my life. Like I said, with the sports cards and the NASCAR or whatever, 2007, that lasted about 2007 to 2014. So I don't know if you could see the correlation, but in 2014, your boy needed a vice. He needed something to do. So that's when the Funko stuff came into play, and that's when a lot of that started happening. So I just have this urge in me to continue to collect things, and it's never gotten this ridiculous, I'll say. I mean, this is definitely a point of no return. But
27 million products that they don't even have that many.
Yeah, and then I've just kept evolving with the autographs and everything. So, and now I'm getting into custom box art. So that's a whole different game.
That's a whole. It's the sports cards all over again, really.
Yeah. I've always needed a vice. Like, I've always needed an outlet, and I've always been collecting, whether it's wrestling figures or sports cards. Or I used to collect hats at one point. I worked at Lids for a little while. But even before then, that's why I worked there. Like, before then, I used to collect hats and whatever. I don't even know where half of those are anymore. I have them somewhere. They don't fit my big ass head anymore. I grew out of them. But it just keeps evolving, and my life as a collector keeps evolving. I don't know what's next because I guess next, it's not even next, but the autograph stuff, I guess, is the latest innovation in the collecting world for me. Because I don't collect like common pops as much anymore. I mean, I have no problem doing that. It's just a matter of, I can get them later on. I'm just not buying them immediately, I guess, is more what I'm saying, because I know I'll be able to get them for $5 later on down the line. Like, it's sad, but it's true right now.
And ladies and gentlemen, I just want to make sure everybody knows, listen to the sound of my voice. I am joking with him when I say he has 27 million Funko Pops, because technically Funko, according to their app, only has 28,006 products.
Kind of a lot, though.
So, well, yeah, I mean, between all the stuff they've retired and, all the stuff they between the bitty pops now that are coming out.
And the wacky wobblers back in the day.
Yep, wacky wobblers, and
thank God I never got into those. Some of those are expensive.
Yeah, they are very, very expensive. All right, what is?
Oh boy.
What is your motivation for purchasing toys to display, play, fiddle? Describe your collecting style. Are you a completionist? Yes, he is. A storyteller, a cherry picker, or otherwise?
Oh, man, I'm kind of a mishmash of everything, I'd say. I'm a bit of an enigma. I like a lot of things. I have no specifics. I mean, obviously, there's things I like more than others. But if people were to see my collection, like, as a whole, like, if they were to come look at it, whatever, and be like, do you just collect everything? I'll be like, yeah, kind of. and if they saw it in 2015, they would say the same thing, because back in 2015, I was kind of buying everything. Like, I saw it, I bought it. I was like, cool. I don't care what this is. I'm buying it. Very cool. Wish I bought other things that I didn't buy at the time. Like the Simpsons pops. That would be nice. But it's just kind of a mishmash, and like I kind of just said, again, I don't know these questions ahead of time, but like I just said, I like having a vice. I like having an outlet. I like having something to do and something to look forward to. This is what I look forward to. I like getting packages in the mail. I like getting new autographs. I need to figure it out a little bit. Like, I need to tone it down a little bit, not spend ridiculous amounts of money on it, but get my life in line.
You need to come up with a system for yourself.
Yeah.
You need to come up with a system for yourself.
Yeah, maybe someday.
Do you have any nieces or nephews or any of that kind of stuff?
No, thank God. My sister's too young. Okay. And if she ever had a kid, I would kill her boyfriend. So.
Oh boy.
Maybe eventually. But I no plans right now. Hopefully it stays that way.
So, in general, folks, normally with people who are my age, I will ask question 29 and 30, which are, have you ever purchased a toy for a child with the ulterior motive of playing with it yourself? And have you ever purchased a vintage toy for a child because you thought it would be great for them based on your own preferences? So we're going to skip those.
Those are great questions, though.
Yes.
And just quickly, like, I haven't, but I 100% will. Like, whenever there's like a child in my life, I 100% will, whoever it is. Like, my buddies are starting to have kids or whatever. So like, I'll be like, hey, here you go. Check this out. Hey, there you go. And maybe not for me, but to like ruin my buddy's life, like to like try and get their kid into stuff. And just ruin that.
Like, oh, by the way, here's Mark Hamill's autograph on this purple
I am not
Joker
doing that. That's coming to me.
Oh, man.
And if I'm spending that would blow Headless Ned's value out of the water. If I spent that kind of money, Jesus.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't that expensive.
Oh, Mark Hamill is expensive.
Okay, his autograph.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, his autograph is probably very expensive.
Oh yeah, like
that purple,
easily 17 to 2,000. Yeah,
yeah. That purple Joker though, I think is under $300.
Oh yeah, definitely. I have the regular one, which I prefer. I mean, it's just because it looks like him more, I guess. But I have that one somewhere.
Yeah,
super cool. I like it. I like all of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you do any toy modifications or customs, painting, building dioramas, etc., etc.? So you've mentioned that you've done some stuff. So what do you do?
Not a lot. I like I said, I only just started getting into like box art and stuff like that, just lightly, just kind of for people or whatever. I did one for a charity auction that is actually running right now, so it's kind of useless for me to talk about it. But Big Dog Dave he did a charity auction now a few weeks ago that I had a box art custom in, and then I just did one Alice in Wonderland for the box swap that we have coming up. Again, already done, so it doesn't matter. I can talk about it.
There you go.
I've done a few like head swaps for Pops. Like I have a Freddy White, I like to call it, which is Freddy Funko's head on Rose Nyland's body. So it's a Freddy White. I don't really do anything crazy. I don't customize. I don't paint. Like I'm not a painter. So I got.
I'm holding my head in my hand, folks. A Freddy White. Are you fucking kidding
Listen,
me?
They're not going to do free to Funko, so I needed to make something happen myself. I don't know why they haven't, but what are you going to do? At least they finally did a baby Freddy Funko.
You know what? That baby is the devil.
Yeah, I love it. He's holding the devil, too.
Oh, God, this stupid thing.
I love it. It's great.
So ugly.
And Egg. I can't wait for Egg. It's the best NFT set they've ever done. Yes, I have it complete, by the way.
Really, I'm sure you did. You know, really, seriously, with those April Fool's Pops that they did this year, that egg should have come with a chicken, because that way you could do the chicken or the egg.
It's so funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's so ridiculous, and like I love that it was like billed as an April Fool's joke, but then it actually came out, and everyone was like, "Oh my god!" It was incredible.
Yeah, and I'm sure by the time this releases, folks, hopefully we will have future news of these actually happening. But I think this is Mr. Well, this is Mr. Slapshot Pops' delusional dream of Star Wars Biddy Pops or NFTs. It's the Star Wars NFTs. Yeah. That's what it is. The Star Wars Biddy Pops are a thing, or that they will be soon. But yeah, Star Wars NFTs. Like, yeah, sorry, no, nope, they're not doing that yet.
I take that with a grain of salt, because the account, even if they've been right about things before, they were not an affiliated Funko account that came from.
Right.
So I take that with a grain of salt. It would surprise me just because of how Disney is with their licenses. And I've said this in the chat a couple times before. I never expect to see Marvel, Disney, Star Wars, but if this does happen, that opens the floodgates for so much more.
Oh, yeah.
And I will be scared. I don't care about the Star Wars ones, but once they start doing Marvel and like Disney, some of those could get me into it. So I've already been nominated by the people of Blue Chat to have some kind of seminar on NFTs if Star Wars were to be a thing.
Hi, my name is Funko Fat Guy, and I'm an NFT collector.
It's true, and I'm so deep in it now that like it's just I don't know. It's the thing I enjoy the most, other than autographs. So I don't know. There's a satisfaction to it that I cannot describe until you just figure it out yourself.
There you go. Absolutely. Do you think toy companies should specifically have adult collector toys, child toys, or find a way to mix both?
Funko has kind of found a way. I know. I'm talking about Funko a lot. It's just in my world.
It's okay.
Funko has kind of found a way to do that already, I'd say. They have things. They kind of appeal. They have one product, being the Pops, that appeal to everybody, in my opinion. I feel like you could be a kid and see a Pop and be like, oh, yeah, I want that. That's a character I like. Cool. But you could also be an adult and be like, oh, yeah, that's a character I like. Cool. I'll buy that. But the difference is your mom's buying one and you're buying one for the other one because you have money because you are an adult with a job. I feel like they've already figured that out, and I've already talked before about them being a toy company now and how I don't care for it. But they have, it's not that it's not smart. I feel like they still make more money than we think. So, I feel like they're doing just fine, despite there being landfills full of nonsense.
That whole situation was just way too weird.
I just hope they learn from it. I don't think they will, but I hope they learn from it. The reason it was done, I don't know. This is more for people listening, I suppose. The reason it was done is because it was cheaper for them to destroy them, basically, than keep them in their warehouse, and that was that.
It's a tax. It's a tax write-off. Yep. Yeah, that's all it is. All right. Do you, and I already know the answer to this question, but oh boy. Do you feel you are coming to an end of your active toy collecting? If so, what has signified this phase for you? Was there ever a moment when you were completely done with toys altogether? And have you ever considered stopping as a collector or even selling your whole collection, all 27 million?
No. There have definitely been, I've definitely shifted on how I feel about things. But there's 0% chance I sell everything. There's not, okay, I guess I can't say zero. If something crazy happened or whatever, maybe. But like now, there's 0% chance that I would ever sell everything. I have too much sentimental value in a lot of these things. Once I do move, there is going to be a big purge. But there's always going to be something in my collection. But maybe it just won't be 27 million down the line. But no, I don't ever.
You got to curate it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't ever see myself getting out completely. I just couldn't. Like I said before, I just love collecting anything really. I have more thought about getting less into video games as far as collecting goes, just because there is some money in it, but there's not a ton, as opposed to these stupid little plastic assholes. There's, for whatever reason, video games, some have great value. Some really do. And it's surprising to me even, but only if they're sealed. You know what I mean? And like you said, I can't play a game if it's sealed. So like, what's even the point? You know, I probably have, I don't even know. I wouldn't even know where to start on how many video games I have. But I just have like in my head, I have the idea of like in the future having like a nice shelf with all of them on it, and it'll look nice. But like, I'm not doing that right now. That's for sure. So if anything, those will be the first to go, probably. Other than like the random shit. Cause like, I've definitely been selling off just some random like one-off stuff that I bought of vinyl toys that I don't collect or whatever. Like chomps and stuff like that. Those are the first to go. And I've already gotten rid of some of those. So there's always an out. Like there's always going to be something you're getting out of. But I'm always going to be in on something else.
Very cool, very cool. What is something that does not have a toy of it you'd love to have in toy form? So let's say you end up taking a trip out to Everett, Washington, and Funko gives you the keys to the kingdom. Mm-hmm. What would you want to make?
This is going to be a real niche answer. So I talked about Persona 5 earlier. But I've been playing a lot of Persona 4, which is obviously the game beforehand. I would love pops of that. Just some of the characters we already have Persona 5 pops, so I don't need that. But there are more characters they could make. I'll be waiting for those someday, hopefully. But Persona 4 has none, and I would love for Persona 4 to have more. As far as more of a broad answer, definitely Jimmy Neutron. Jimmy Neutron and Fairly Odd Parents would be probably two of my big ones that don't have it that I would really love to have. There's no Timmy Turner. There's no Jimmy Neutron. That's so bizarre to me that I don't know how they can't get those licenses. With all the Nickelodeon licenses they do have, I can't understand why those don't exist yet. I don't know how licensing works. That's not my biz, but like, I feel like it shouldn't be that difficult. But what do I know? But those would be the two more broad answers that I would want.
For me, there is one. Yeah. There is one that I could be fine. Like, I could be fine sitting here just looking at it and admiring.
Street Sharks.
You know what? Well, no, hell no. Hell no.
Street Sharks.
Never. No.
Why not?
No. I don't even think I've ever seen that show, and I'm old enough to have lived through that era. But
hey, you like the Street Sharks reference?
Yeah, exactly. They've done all these 80s pops. They've done A-Team. They've done Golden Girls. They've done Knight Rider. They've done MacGyver. They've done all this 80s television stuff. Why? For the love of God and everything on Melmac, have they not done an Alf pop yet?
I actually agree, 100%. Or Mork and Mindy.
Or Mork and Mindy.
I'd buy both.
Or Perfect Strangers, or Family Ties, or whatever. Like, insert
Family Matters. Family Matters.
Yep.
Yeah.
Family Matters.
Actually, Urkel is coming pretty soon, I believe.
Oh, it's funny. Again, by the time people hear this, they won't, whatever. Right. But I literally just shared today from the Pod Meets World, which is Danielle Fishel, Will Friedle, and Ryder Strong doing a rewatch of their own show that they were on 30 years ago. So they're doing a rewatch podcast of Boy Meets World. So they shared the infamous, they want you to take the roles where Corey and Sean are dressed up like old men.
Yep.
I shared that photo in the group. I'm like, okay, we have Corey and Topanga as pops currently, and I have them now. Why aren't there more Boy Meets World pops? And why haven't we got old Corey and old Sean? Yeah. Like, if we got old Corey and old Sean, that would be like hit right out of the park.
I'm just bummed there's not a Mr. Feeney because he does cons all the time. Like, he does cons all the time, and I mean, this is dark, but he's an older man, so like, it's not going to happen forever.
He's 96 years old.
Like, it's just a missed opportunity.
Yeah, the only pop he has is one that's not actually of him. Oh. It's Knight Rider. Oh. It's the kid car.
Yeah, that's right.
It's Michael. Yeah, it's
that would actually be a very cool one to get signed by both of them if possible.
Absolutely. If possible.
But it'd be hard to get. The Hoff is not easy to get.
Well, you're never too old for video games.
So I've been trying to get an interview with the Hoff for 15 years. Yep. So
that's going to be a tough one. Yeah, he's a shockingly busy man, I'd say.
Still working. I don't know how.
I'll keep working on it. Yeah, why not? I mean, if you can get them, it'd be cool.
Yep. Let's see here. What is a toy you'd love to have scaled up and functional for the real world?
Ooh. See, now that's where Transformers would come into play. I never collected them. I never had them. But like, if they could be real, I would want them so fast. I would want those things so fast. Give me a Transformer. That would be dope. And not scaled up, I guess scaled up, but I would love real life Pokemon. I want a scientist to figure it out that we can make real life Pokemon that I can catch in a ball and fight my friends with. That would be dope. Never gonna happen.
Yikes,
we'd have some weird genetic splicing shit going on there. And PETA would hate it. They already do.
Yeah.
But I want it. Give me real Pokemon. Yep. Come on, science.
Yeah, you change the E to an I, and that organization is nothing but a pain in the ass.
It's true, they suck. Like, they have good intentions, but they're all buttholes about it.
Exactly. All right, I will edit this part out, but question 37 in a row. How have your spouses, significant others, mates, partners dealt with your collection? You're single, right?
I'm sad and alone. Don't edit it out. Ladies, nerdy ladies, hey, how you doing? You looking for a fat guy with a bunch of toys? How you doing? Wink. There you go. There's your promo.
I'm using that as your... Oh, God.
Please do.
That's amazing. Oh, my fucking God. That's amazing. All right. Well, toy collecting can have its struggles. What is one aspect you tend to struggle with the most?
Spending too much money I don't have. Never have a credit card, folks. It's a dangerous, slippery slope. You go so deep in that shit, it is not good. Working on it, working on that. Have one frozen right now, so where everything's great. On my end, I did it. I froze it. I'm like, you gotta chill out, buddy.
Yep.
So yeah, basically the advice I would give is stay within your lane. Don't spend money you don't have. And try to enjoy yourself without doing so.
There you go. Absolutely. What is one positive and or one negative memory you have with buying toys?
That's an interesting question. And I honestly am not sure how to answer it. I mean, I always remember, like, with my mom and my dad going to, like, Toys R Us or whatever as a kid. That was always a positive experience just because of how everything was laid out. The video game section was always nice and neat and like looked like you could see like Game Boy Color games in like little cases or whatever. And I'm like, oh man, yeah, this is cool. If I can go back right now, knowing what I know now, man, I would clean up. I'd get me some sealed Pokemon Yellows. Hell yeah, I'd do that so fast. I'm sure there are negative experiences, but like, I don't really associate, like, I don't really know, like, I can't think of anything, so I'm sure they exist, but I which is a good thing that I guess I was never really traumatized, by a toy experience. I accidentally stole a Jawbreaker from Toys R Us once. That traumatized me a little. I was super young and I had it in my pocket, like, not even thinking. Does that count? It was in a toy store.
Yeah, absolutely, it counts.
I stole a Jawbreaker. I'm a criminal. I'm a hardened criminal, just like that Jawbreaker. I'm hardened. Wait a minute. Nope, can't say that. Leave it in.
Well, yeah, but still, like, moving on.
I'm sticking to it.
All right, Colin Ray. He actually laughed at that. I can't, but you actually got that joke. Wow.
Maybe it was a pity
laugh.
Oh,
Lord. Yeah, well, maybe. All right, where are we? What is the one piece of advice you would give the toy collecting fandom in general?
It's kind of along the lines of what I said earlier. Just like stay within your means of financial area. Don't overspend. Kind of do your research, especially if you're dealing with Funko and Autograph Pop specifically too. Just do your any toy really, like any older toy that you're maybe not sure about. Things can be faked all the time, no matter what it is. Funko is just one of those toy brands that is faked a ton. So do your research, know what you're doing, be educated, and don't feel like it's a childish thing to do, because I know a lot of people don't collect because they feel like it's something only kids do or something like that. Don't have that feeling. Do what you want to do. And I feel like I did feel that way for a little while too. I was like, oh no, they're for kids or whatever. And I'm like, I'm a kid. Like I'm still a kid. Like you said, I mean, Toys R Us told us to never grow up. We never did. We just didn't know it. And now these come around and, I mean, I got right back into it. So that's what I'd have to say is just do what you want to do with toy collecting and don't let anyone tell you that it's wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, folks, we're going to go to a quick ad break and hear some ads and some other stuff, and we'll come back to close the show right after this.
Hello, all sentient beings. Want the latest on everything going on in the Transformers multiverse? Check out the Transmissions Podcast Network. We've got weekly podcasts covering everything from Alpha Trion to Omega Supreme, from old school G1 all the way up to Cyberverse and beyond. And you don't want to miss Empire of Rust, the world's first and only Transformers live play role-playing game podcast. If you love Transformers, there's something for everyone at transmissionspodcast.com.
One of the primary themes of Toycast is that we focus on throwing it back to the past. We are who we are today because of the nostalgic memories and experiences from our childhood. Obviously, we wouldn't be doing this show if it weren't for the toys that made us so addicted to nostalgia. Throwback Toys Chicago is your primary go-to collectible store to reclaim the toys that drove those memories and experiences. Specializing in action figures from all of your favorite toy lines like Star Wars, G.I. Joe, He-Man, Transformers, Silverhawks, Ghostbusters, TMNT Mask, and more, get your dose of nostalgia with a shop run by collectors for collectors. Whether you are looking for a loose G.I. Joe ice cream soldier, a packaged Leonardo, recent Star Wars Black Series figures, or an AFA-graded Boba Fett, Throwback Toys Chicago is all about throwing you back into your geeky obsession with toys. Visit the shop at 1450 North Ashland Avenue in Chicago, Illinois, just 2 blocks south of Ashland and North Ave. Call the shop at 847-830-1031 or email them at tbtchicago@gmail.com. Visit them and give Throwback Toys Chicago a chance to throw you back to your childhood.
On the Simplistic Reviews podcast, we talk movies. We talk TV. We talk...
Hello, Julie, what the heck are you doing?
Trying to make our spots sound more exciting by adding explosions.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you could have got the point across with sound effects, not the real thing. Car.
Download this show on iTunes or at simplisticreviews.blogspot.com.
I'm sure your insurance company will cover that.
No, they won't.
No, they probably won't.
Discover a world of vintage and modern toys that's more than meets the eye with the Triple Takeover Toycast.
Hosted by toy writers and photographers Toybox Soapbox, 6O, and TF Square 1, this informal and chilled out series of discussions cover everything from vintage Transformers to Mask, Diaclone, Microman, and more, be it nostalgic or current.
Whether you're a seasoned collector or a casual robot enthusiast, all are welcome.
Triple Takeover Toycast.
Alright folks, we are back here on Toycast with the Funko Fat Guy, aka Jake, and it has been an awesome pleasure, sir, to talk to you about all these toy things and autograph things and whatever else, and Funko and all that good stuff. And where can the people find your content, sir?
Yeah, I wish I had more broad answers, but I'm so focused on my one thing that I that's what I got to talk about most. But
hey, that's okay.
If you're into Funko and you want to see the Autograph King at work, go to Funko Fat Guy on YouTube. I release videos sporadically. I used to have a schedule. I don't anymore. Whenever I have something, I release it. And now I've started to get into food reviews to kind of add a little spice to the channel, give my own unique perspective on some of the random ass foods that people have coming out. I don't even know what's going to be out by the time that this is out, but I know a couple weeks ago it's coming out for us right now, Sunday, tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the Lay's Wagyu beef potato chips. So go watch that video. You can see me not enjoy things. I'll tell you that much. It's real gross. But it's going to be fun. The gross ones are the fun ones. And you can follow me on Instagram, Funko Fat Guy. I try to post pretty often, but I've slowed down a little bit there. But I'm super interactive on both my YouTube channel and my Instagram. So
very cool, very cool. Yeah, at this point I've been on YouTube for about the same time and length that I've been podcasting, 15 years or so. And I have always said I am not a YouTuber. I'm a podcaster. Yeah. So I have a video from 3 months ago. I have about 7 videos from a month ago. Kind of I like YouTube, but I was never I don't do
no one kind of like a fat John Cena. Nobody needs to see this.
I like
kind of like, no, thank you. You don't need to see me. You only just hear the sound of my voice, which probably everybody hates anyway.
The thing with I can kind of relate. I've always been kind of like, I'm not saying this is the same with you, but like I've always been kind of like a self-conscious guy, because like, I mean, we're bigger guys. Like some people, whatever. Some people say things, whatever. I've just learned to kind of not care, like I've just kind of built my own personality, and like I do ham it up a little bit on the channel, but it's not like, it's not too different from how I really am. I just have sunglasses on. Like that's really it. But like, and maybe that is kind of a way of me to kind of hide myself a little bit behind it. But people love it. I mean, people love it.
It's great.
People love it. And that's kind of what you need to break out, I feel like, in the YouTube space. And I'm not saying I've broken out. I've not even come close to breaking out. But I feel like that's kind of what you need in the YouTube space. You need to be noticeable. You need to be noticed by just casual people. And I feel like having a look is important. And I never wanted to do it. I really never wanted to do it. But I just figured, you know what? Why not? I'm getting all these packages in the mail. I'm getting all this stuff. Why not show my collection to the world the best way that I can? And even still, like, I haven't been doing it well lately. But at the beginning, I mean, I was pumping out stuff weekly and bi-weekly even, or multiple times a week, I guess I should say. I was pumping stuff out all the time. I buy significantly less now, or pay more money and get less, you know what I mean? But so I'm just getting less packages in the mail now. So I don't do it as much, but when I do, I mean, I try to make it at least funny. Like I try to be I'm a comedian. Like I try to be a comedian more so than like a content creator or whatever. I don't consider myself a YouTuber, but what else am I suppose? I'm on YouTube. I say things on YouTube. So close enough, I guess. I guess I just don't associate myself as a YouTuber.
Yeah, and the thing is, like you said, you have to find a niche. Yeah. You have to find a thing that's yours, a thing that nobody else is doing. You have to make sure it's this, that, and the other thing. And you have a unique logo. You obviously have. I mean, it's a unique-ish name, but I mean, anybody. Hell, I could be a Funko fat guy too.
Yeah, alliteration.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah,
and that's always been what it's been. I've always picked bright colors. Like I picked the name first. The name came first, the logo came second, but I've always been bright colors because like if I'm chatting in like a whatnot chat or whatever, or like any kind of chat, I want that logo to stand out. Like no matter what, even if you can barely tell what it is, I want the colors to stand out. My original colors were neon pink and green. Like they're gonna stand out no matter what. And I feel like branding is just as important as how you present yourself on camera. That it's like, it's so crazy. I'm not even, like I said, I'm barely in this world. And, would I love to have more like followers or whatever, subscribers? Sure. But like, I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it because I want to show off my collection, and there are dedicated people that'll watch weekly, and I appreciate them just as much as I appreciate the people who don't comment or whatever weekly. But, it is what it is. If something happens, great. If there's an explosion, great. But I'm not doing it for that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're doing it for yourself, and you're doing it,
It's an outlet for me. This is for me to do. And there are times where I don't want to. There have been times on my channel, there's a void of months. And that's just, I mean, not to get like too super deep and sentimental, but like I deal with depression, I deal with anxiety, like I deal with that kind of stuff. I feel like that's just kind of like every millennial thing now. Nowadays, but I do deal with all that stuff. So this is just an outlet. I love talking to people. I love interacting with not even fans, but just people, a part of the community. I don't like calling people fans of mine. I don't. It's just, they're my friends. Like these people are my friends. I've grown relationships with them. Like Cord. I mean, Cord's in our group chat. I've known Cord now like 3 years, or almost 3 years, I'd say. From the beginning, basically. So like, he's a buddy, like he's a friend, it's that's how I like to see things. I don't see them as fans. I see the people that watch my videos as like my friends, as corny as that is. I do it for them. And for myself. But yeah, it's just it's a nice outlet that I when I like doing it, I love doing it.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, folks, that's going to do it for us. I wanted to make episode 177 because 77 is a Star Wars number because of 1977 when Star Wars first came out. I wanted to make that the Slapshot Pops episode, but sadly, I don't think that's going to happen.
They are busy.
However, yes, I know they are busy. I understand. I can bend over backwards. Don't make me put up a billboard in Boston. I will.
Oh, I know you will.
1 million by December 31st, 2023, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thank you for joining us here on Toycast. If you'd like to get in contact with us, leave feedback for the show, there are several ways to do so. Visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can listen to and comment on all of our content. Send any email to feedback@geekcastradio.com. Here are all the ways you can listen to us nowadays. Apple, Google Podcasts, leave us reviews, please. Spotify and any other podcatching client you choose to use. Follow us on that evil social media platform, Twitter, apparently. At Geekcast Radio for the network, at TF Toycast for the show. I am at TFG and Mike. I don't think Jake is on Twitter.
I am, but I don't use it. It's not for the content, so bah.
Yep. Yeah. Become a fan on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/Geekcast Radio Network. You can also check out Toycast over there as well. Next time is probably going to be some sort of Star Wars like display case, so we'll have you back on for one of these at some point. But usually, so I've been running this. I've been doing this show since 2009 when we launched. Yeah, and one of the things, like, I didn't want to just be the everyday toy podcast that every episode is. Let's talk about the news. Let's this. I don't want to do that. So basically, I took what is essentially a YouTube review and made it an audio version, and it's called Display Case. And basically, we break open the display case. I actually use Glass Shatters. I use the Disturbed version of Glass Shatters, and I have 2002. You'll like this. I have 2002 Skeletor, Brian, whatever his name is. I have him where, as Skeletor in one of the episodes of the 2002 He-Man cartoon, he says, "Don't touch!" So the glass shatters, and then he says, "Don't touch," and then it comes back to us. And we just, like I picked up Funko Pop Lights and Sounds Batman earlier.
Oh, is that what we were hearing earlier?
Yeah.
Gotham City needs me.
Yeah, talk about licensing. Jason, the licensing director over at Funko, is the voice of
that's funny.
Of Funko Pop Lights and Sounds Batman. So basically, you pick up a toy, in-box, out-of-box, whatever you want to do, and we sit here and we talk about it. We go around the table, talk. It's kind of like, it's not like Duck, Duck, Goose, but it's kind of like we just sit here and have a fun conversation for like 20 or 30 minutes and display case, and boom, there you go. There's like 7 recordings we can do, and 7 episodes of a 20-minute toy discussion. There you go. That's almost 2 months worth of content.
There you go.
Right
Perfect.
There. Absolutely. So next time on Toycast, like I said, probably going to be a display case. For now, I am TFG and Mike with
Funko Fat Guy, JK.
Yay! Join us next time when we'll be talking more toys here on Toycast.
I said it before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.